We're at David fights the giant. Okay, we're at 365 pages, a story by Wang and Heather Stuart. Okay, here we go. But David wasn't scared. You may have fancy armor, but I have God of all the world to help me, he shouted back. Then David took a smooth stone and slung it from his slingshot. It hit Goliath in the forehead, and the giant fell down with a thud. The Israelites cheered, "The Philistines ran away! Yay!" Okay, let's hurry. I got a lot. I want you to learn a lot today, so I'm going to go fast. Now, David, King, 1 Samuel 6, 18, 6 through 9, 2 Samuel 5 and 1 through 5. That's in your Bible. I'm going to read it so it'll be more simple for you to understand, children or adults, or whoever are new beginners to Christ, and I'm also teaching myself. Soon stories and songs about David's bravery became known among all the Israelites. King Saul became very jealous of David. He even tried to kill him, but God kept David safe. When King Saul died, the people asked David to be their king. The king in Jerusalem, 2 Samuel 6, 1 and 19. The people loved King David. There were kings of Israel now who loved God and did good things. For while there was a peace again in the land, David took the Ark of Covenant with 10 commandments in its city of Jerusalem. David mistake. 2 Samuel 11, 1 through 27. One night while David's army was away at war, David saw a beautiful woman. He found out that she was Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah. David wanted very much to meet Bathsheba. Then he made sure that Uriah was killed in a battle so that Bathsheba was free to become his wife. So when I was covering the 10 commandments about do not take another person's wife and do not kill the other person and do not betray your friend. Okay? Well, that's what he did. That's beautiful. Bathsheba looks sort of like me a little bit. She kind of does. She has the long hair and she looks good. That's Bathsheba. And so Nathan tells a story. 2 Samuel 12, 1 and 6. David knew that he had done something very wrong. He hoped no one else could find out, but God knew what Daniel had done. God sent Nathan to David. Nathan told David a story about a rich man who stole a poor man's only lamb. David was angry. That rich man deserves to die, David said. That's David and Nathaniel. So Nathaniel was warning David about his actions. So if your mom doesn't warn you, or your dad or anybody's not alive, someone's going to tell you eventually that you're bad. Let's not hope that you don't have to go to jail and learn the hard way, because if you hear jail is cool, it's not. It's not cool to go. So Nathan looked at David, but David, he said, "You are like that rich man. You are a king, yet you stole Bathsheba from Uriah the soldier." Then David put his head in his hands and he cried. David was very, very sorry. God is very sad because of what you have done, said Nathan, but he will forgive you. 2 Samuel 12, 6 and 13. Now, Bathsheba, baby son, 2 Samuel 12 and 14 through 25. Bathsheba had a baby son, but he became ill and died. David was very sad again. He was sure it was his fault for stealing Bathsheba from Uriah. The God blessed David and Bathsheba with another son, and they were happy once more. They named him Solomon. So their first son died. So if mommy has a baby and you think you're going to have a brother and the baby dies, it was for a reason. So if you see mommy crying or you overhear them talking on the phone about something, just know that God is able and you just need to pray for mommy. The next king of Israel, 2 Samuel 22 and 1, 1 King 131 through 37, and the other one that I read with Bathsheba, that's going to be in 2 Samuel 12, 14, and 25, if I forgot that I said that or not. But David was king for a long time. He wrote many poems and songs. Some were happy and told God how great he was, and some asked for God's help. When the next time came, for David died, it was time for David to die. He asked to see Bathsheba and Nathan. Make sure Solomon is next king, he said. He will listen to God. Good advice for Solomon. 1 King 138 and 42 and 1 and 12. Before he died, David gave his son an advice. Keep God's commandment and you will succeed in everything. David had learned the hard way, but he hoped Solomon would do better. Then Solomon was anointed with oil and declared king, just as his father before him. God gives to Solomon, 1 King 3 and 5 through 15. One night in a dream, God said to Solomon, ask for anything you like, and I will give it to you. Did Solomon ask to be rich? No. Did he ask to be famous? No. Please give me a wise heart so I can help your people. Solomon prayed. God made him the wisest man ever and rich and famous too. The two babies. So you don't ask for any wishes. I tried to, it's better to say I hope for versus I wish, because at that time, God was not granting him any wishes. So if anybody are granting you any wishes, it is pure evil. So God did come to Solomon and asked him, what did you want? And Solomon did not want to be rich or famous, but Solomon wanted a wise heart. Now, we currently need money to survive. Your parents do need money to survive. That's why you have to be on your best behavior, making your bed up and all that stuff, and being a good person. And if you're adult, you need to be on your best behavior. Just because you're grown doesn't mean God will not strike you down. The two babies, the 1 King 3:16 through 25. Two women had given birth to a baby boy. One baby had died. They came to see King Solomon, and living baby is mine, said one. No, he's mine, said the other. How would Solomon know who the real mother was? Cut the baby in half, Solomon said. Share it. They're fighting. That's why you women, you got to love God more than wanting a baby. You love God first. Solomon wisdom. 1 King 3 and 26 through 28. One of the women cried out, yes, cut the baby in half. The other said, no, give her the baby. Don't cut him. Solomon gave the second woman the baby. The real mother would never let her child be hurt. Everyone heard about King's wisdom. They knew that God had blessed him. We're at a house for God. 1 King 5:13 through 6 through 38. Solomon built a temple in Jerusalem so the people could worship God there. It took thousands of men 7 years to build it. It was made with stone walls, paneled with wood, and covered in gold. It was decorated with carved flowers and golden angels. It was beautiful. Look at that. That's so cool. Next, Solomon prayer. 1 King 8:22 and 6. When the Ark of Covenant was brought to the temple, Solomon prayed, I know you are too great to live in the house, dear Lord, but let your people come to worship you here. Ask for your help in their need, for your forgiveness when they do things that are wrong. Okay, so make sure you're asking God for your forgiveness. We're talking about parents, children, and teenagers. The Queen of Sheba. Yeah, I love Queen of Sheba because that's what I call my show, Queen Shalisha show. Now, Queen of Sheba, 1 Kings 10, 1 and 13. A queen from a faraway land of Sheba heard how wise Solomon was and came to Israel to find out for herself. When she saw his palace and heard the wise things he said, she gave him a gift of gold, precious stones, and spices. God has truly blessed you, she told him. Ahab and Jezebel. After Solomon died, there was a king of Israel who did not love God. King Ahab married a woman named Jezebel who worshiped a false god called Bala. Ahab built a temple to Bala and worshiped the false god too. Ahab broke many of God's 10 commandments. So that's why the world is destroyed, and that is Jezebel. And Elijah and the drought. 1 Kings 17 and 1. God was not happy with Ahab, so he sent his prophet Elijah with a message for him. God is the only true living God, but you worship gods of wood, stone, who can do nothing. Now God has decided that unless you change your ways and keep his commandment, he will send no more rain. Okay, so when it's raining outside, it's really, God is really he's crying. And then sometimes the rain comes because of the crops, to grow the crops. So sometimes when it's raining, just get really quiet, turn off everything and pray to God. Tell God it's okay because he's at his pitiful state. You're in your home, but there's other people out they're breaking the 10 commandments. So that makes God cry. Raven brings food. 1 Kings 17 and 2 and 6. King Ahab was very angry. Elijah was so afraid the king would kill him that he ran away. God told him where to find a place where he could get water from brooks to drink. Then God sent ravens to Elijah with bread each morning, and with bread and meat each evening. God took care of Elijah. So Jesus has feelings too. The widows who shared. When the brook dried up from the drought, God told Elijah to go to the village where the widow would help him. Elijah met the widow, gathering sticks to make a fire, and asked for God. I am about to make bread for the last meal. We will eat before we die, she said. God provides. 1 Kings 17, 13 to 16. Share your food with me and trust God, Elijah told the widow. She used the last of her flour and her last drop of oil to make bread for Elijah. But when she looked again, there was enough flour and oil for more bread. God made sure they did not go hungry until he sent rain again. Remember I said sometimes God's tears are for food and for also his sorrow, and he at times is emotional. At times he is very pitiful by the way we act. Being jealous of one another, talking about one another, being envious of one another. That's why God has tears. Okay, contest in the Mount Carmel. 1 Kings 18:20 through 21 in your Holy Bibles. If you do not have this book, I say again. Elijah told Ahab to gather all the prophets of Baal and meet on the top of Mount Carmel. And Elijah spoke to his Israelites, gather there, choose today whom you will worship. If the Lord is God, then follow him. But if Baal is God, then follow him. No answers on the mountain. 1 Kings 18:22 and 29. Elijah changed the prophet of Baal to prepare the sacrifice their God. Elijah would do the same. Call on your God to light your altar with fire. Elijah said, the prophet of Baal danced and shouted to their God. And shouted and danced, but nothing happened. Nothing at all. Elijah altar. 1 Kings 18:30 through 35. Then Elijah built an altar to 12 stones with small trench around it. Fill 4 jars of water and pour them over the wood of the altar. Do it again and again until everything is soaking wet. How could fire burn on an altar with all that water over it? Okay. God bless you, kids. And yes, Jesus loves you.